This is my mother and father, Sarah and Jake Kaytes, and my sister Claire and Stephen Noble. And next is Benjamin, and Claire at a wedding. This was cousin Irving, myself in the back, Lillian, and Irving's girlfriend. This was Lillian in approximately 1951, before we got married. And there's some pictures of us together. And this was my formal wedding picture. My father and I getting ready for the wedding. And there we are walking down the aisle, and this is saying farewell after the wedding. This picture is hanging in Louise's house in color. The old age home honored my mother, and this is a picture that they took. On the left is my Uncle Ed. Next to him is my brother-in-law Benny, then my father, my mother, my sister Claire. Next was Adrian, my sister-in-law, and then Lillian, and then on the bottom is little Susie. This handsome man was my father in 1950, and this my gorgeous mother at the same time. This family portrait was taken at Alan and Joni Lefkowitz's wedding in 1960. That's Ricky, and there's a picture of Lillian and me. This must have been in 1953, and Susie was my first model, as I was a photographer then and took a lot of pictures of Susie. And then came Ricky, and again I took a lot of pictures. And we set this up one night, and we took pictures of Ricky eating. Look at those bright eyes. I used this picture in the farmers markets as a display because everybody who went by said, "Who does that remind you of? What kid in the family?" It was a real stopper. These are Ricky growing up in different stages of his life. This is a school picture of Ricky. Louise was a very pretty baby, and these are some of the pictures I took of her. That's Susie, Louise, and Ricky. This is Stephen Kaytes and his brother Dylan. There they are, and they're really fabulous pictures, and there's another great one of them. This good-looking kid is Zach at 2 years old. There, Ariel and Jeff Gold. And there's Ariel by herself, and here's smiling Jeff. This is Jeremy Kaplan growing up, and there he is a little older. And over here is Zach and Jeremy. This is 8-year-old Zach holding the basketball. Alex Kaytes, about 10 years old. 4-year-old Ricky in the backyard on a bike. Ricky and Susie are dressed up for the Puja Parade in Vail, Colorado. This was at a CBI convention. David's bar mitzvah picture, and here is Charles and David together at a double ceremony. Harry Grosnoff, a neighbor and friend, had an inn at the Bristol market, and he had us get a stand in there where we would take baby pictures for a penny a pound. That was the best gimmick of all, because when they came to see the proofs, they naturally wanted to buy more, and that's where we made our money. However, we were such a draw at the market, stopping the people to look and see how we took the baby pictures. We paid no rent. In fact, they got us to go to one of the other markets, and at one time we were in the Montgomeryville market, the Quakertown market, the Woodbury market, and the last one was the Pennsauken market. That was the only one we paid rent in. These are the type of pictures we took in the farmers markets. Our gimmick was a penny a pound, pay whatever you weigh. The picture of Ricky with the bowl on his head was a stopper, and everybody stopped to look and always said, "Who does that remind you of? What kid?" We outgrew the dark room at Wyoming Avenue, and I bought a store on Rising Sun Avenue with my brother's guidance, and I made a studio in the first floor, and on the second floor it was an apartment that we rented out. The weddings were great. Hank and I and Mort Haftel, our friend, would go to take the pictures. Hank would take the pictures. I would direct how they would stand, and Mort would carry the suitcase, and he would eat all he could, and Hank drank all he could. But we had a great time at the weddings because we were all single, and there were plenty of young girls looking for nice-looking guys. We became pretty busy at the studio taking baby pictures, and word got around that we would even wholesale or print pictures for other photographers, which we did. We hired another darkroom man so he and Hank could process all the film. And one of the things that we did that made it that set us apart from the other photographers was we created this booklet. It had 10 pictures in it, and we would take the 10 pictures and put them in the book, and we would show them to the people, and we sold it for $9.95. But we would give them an 8 by 10 picture for the dollar coupon, so that quite often, if they didn't buy anything, they bought the proofs that we put in here, and we made the 8 by 10, and that was a nice sale. Here we have Harry Goldblum, my mother-in-law Betty, and little Charlie underneath. In the back, my sister-in-law Rhoda, and that was Buddy's wife, Betty Morrison, and Harry Goldblum. A glamour shot of my mother-in-law Betty, Lillian's brother Buddy. These pictures were taken in 1966 at Buddy Morrison's wedding. That was Susie and Larry, Louise and David. There's Beverly and Rick on a cruise. And here's Beverly and Rick all dressed up at one of the affairs. That's Susie and me having a dance. That's Louise and me having a good time at the affair. Our house on my light place where our kids grew up and was the happiest time of our lives. This is gorgeous Susie at our wedding. This is her wedding book. And this is my mother-in-law Betty and the 2 kids. And this is our family portrait of the Noble family. And there they are again. Aren't they handsome? Me carrying on at Susie's wedding. Saying goodbye as she goes on her honeymoon.